Hello everyone, welcome to Officer Center 24/7. So this is a class of your most important questions and only few days left, so I'm expecting that everyone is started and just geared up your preparation for upcoming examination of the JIB. So quickly let's start the session. If you're new on the Officer Center 24/7, hit the subscribe button and download the other 24/7 application. Okay. So let's start today's session, and today we are starting with a flat 80% off you are going to get, and this is a last chance you are going to get. For just you are getting the flat 80% off. What you have to do, you have to only apply the code, that is Y422, because this is a month end offer. Okay, you are getting the month end offer, and just grab this opportunity. I would just say here. Okay, so you are getting the flat 80% off. The only thing that you have to use the code, that is Y422, right? Now, this code you can apply on the case study batch, and you are getting the 80% off. That means the only thing that you just have to apply the Y422. And the importance of the case study batch, you can understand, like, today's the level of the examination is slightly up. Okay, and the most of the questions we actually see in, like, that come from the case study type. And the very important thing that you actually going to understand the concept, like, from this case study type questions. Okay, so like you can enroll for the English medium as well as the, like, bilingual batches, both in both languages you are getting this course. Okay, so you can enroll for that, like, just use the code, that is Y422. Another thing that our selection batch. Okay, you can also enroll for the selection batch, and the few classes that actually has been done, but it's still few classes that remain. Okay, so you can just enroll for that today. Just grab this opportunity. You are getting the Y422. With this code you are going to get the big discount over that, as well as you are going to get the mock test ebooks, as well as the live classes, recorded classes, everything you are going to get, like, with this batches. Okay, so just quickly let's start today's session. Okay, so the first question is the original cost of the machine that is given. Okay, the original cost of the machine that is given, the 19 lakh machine installation charges that is given, working life of the machine that is given. Okay, and the residual value that is given. So if the depreciation is charged on the straight line basis, then fourth year depreciation, that what should be. Okay, you have to tell that. Fine. So, look, I always explained you in the depreciation chapter, you always have to consider the total cost of the asset. Okay, so when we talk about the total cost of the asset, the very first thing that what come, that is original cost of the machine. So when I say original cost of the machine, that is given the 19 lakh. Just write down, that is 19 lakh. Okay, machine installation charges, that is given the 1 lakh. You also have to this 1 lakh into this 19 lakh. That's why it becomes the total cost of the machine, that would be your 20 lakhs rupees. Okay, this is a very important thing to understand, and you will definitely get the question, because JIB is an examination where you will find questions from every chapter, every topic. Okay, so now the working life that is given. Okay, sometimes the question that may be after working life, that would be like 40,000 would be of the machine value. So there you have to understand, after useful life, whatever the value that remain, that is known as a residual value. Okay, so if I have to solve, like, based on the straight line method, I have to solve. Okay, so what would be the depreciation value? What you will say, that is total cost of the machine, that is 20 lakh. Okay, minus 40,000, that is residual value, just right here, and it will be divided by the useful life, that is 5. So this will become the 19 lakh 60,000, right? So this will become the 19 lakh 60,000 divided by the 5. Okay, so this would be your 3,92,000 rupees. That would be the depreciation. Now question is that then fourth year depreciation what would be? So look, when we talk about the straight line method, the very important feature you have to understand in the straight line method, the depreciation value would remain same for all of the years. Okay, so depreciation value would remain all, like, same for all of the year. So for this, what would be your answer? That would be your answer for, like, the third question, that is 3 lakh 92,000. And this kind of the question you can also just see in, like, in the theoretical form in the examination, that in the straight line method depreciation value always a constant. Okay, This is you have to understand. Second question. In case of deposited of the check into bank but not collected, the balance is less as per what? Okay. When we talk about in case of deposited of the check into bank, and this is a kind of the question that actually check your concept related to the chapter. Okay. So when we talk about the like suppose that we are talking about the cash book and we are talking about the passbook, right? So deposited of the check. So suppose that customer deposited the check like any amount. Okay, so this should suppose that some customer deposited the X amount of the check and but not collected by the bank. That means bank is not collected that. That means this would reflect as a zero in the bank statement. Now tell me here that the balance is less as per what? As per the cash book, as per the passbook. What will you say that? Definitely the balance is less as per the passbook. Okay, so that would be your answer, because in the cash book we actually deposited that amount. Okay, and in the passbook this transaction is reflecting as a zero. So that's why the balance is less as per what book? That is your passbook. Okay, that is a very important question. I think now everyone just understood that, right? Next question. Y draws a trade bill of 12,000 off for 6 months on X, right? And after holding the bill for the 2.5 months, the Y discount the bill with the bank 10% per annum. The amount of the discount on bill is okay. So like you have to solve this question here. Okay, so Y draws a trade bill of 12,000 for the 6 months on X. So now you can understand Y is a seller and X is a buyer. Okay, that you can understand. That means Y is a creditor and X is a debtor. So Y draws a trade bill of 12,000 for 6 months on X. For 6 months on X. Okay. So that means the trade bill is amounting of the 12,000 rupees and for the 6 months. But what exactly happened? After holding the bill for the 2.5 months, why discount the bill with the bank 10% per annum? That means after holding the bill for the 2.5 months, when creditor is required the money, so with the help of the bank, it actually discount the bill. Okay, so if I say like 12,000 that Y draw like Y or seller actually received by the bank, but the 10% that is a cost, that have to pay to the Y or drawer or seller. Okay, so now you can understand the only period that is remained, that is 3.5 months validity of this bill of exchange. Okay, so now you have to understand that what is the amount of the discount on this bill be, right? So like the very important thing you have to understand, because this is for the 3.5 months only, right? So we will just write here that is 12,000 rupees here and 3.5 months, because 3.5 months we are using, so we have to divide by the 12 also. Okay, now the rate of interest that is given the 10%, so just write here 10%, it would be divided by the 100. Okay, it would be divided by the 100 here. Now what we have to do, now you can understand, if I have to calculate the interest here, like the amount of the discount on this bill, that you can also just understand as a interest. So rather say here that is amount of discount, right? So that we have to calculate amount of the discount. So here you can just calculate here that what it would be, that two zeros that is cut by here. Okay, this would become the 10 and this would become your 350. So that would be your answer for this question. This is how you have to calculate the questions in the examination also. And the one thing also you have to understand, whenever you will get like whenever you are just putting the value in any formulas, the very important thing you have to look for the same parameter. That same parameter you have to consider. Suppose that we are just writing here 10% per annum, but we are using only 3.5 months. So this is not correct. That's why we have to divide by the 12 for converting month into the year. Okay, I'm hoping that everyone is understanding this. Next question. When credit balance as per the passbook is a starting point of a bank reconciliation statement, then bank charges are what? Okay, what would be like subtracted, added? And this is also very important question. Look, whenever you will find the question like credit balance as per the passbook is the starting point, so you have to understand like in this way, that is when credit balance as per the passbook that is given. Okay, so if it is given, that means you have to calculate for the cash book. Okay, right? Now you will just make the table like here, that is cash book and passbook. Now when credit balance as per the passbook is the starting point of the bank reconciliation statement, the bank charges are what, like added, subtracted, what. So now you can understand, suppose that credit balance as per the passbook is given something x, okay, something x, or you can just writing here minus x because it is a credit balance, okay, right? So I think it is understandable for everyone. Okay. So the very important thing, look, here the credit balance is given, so you just do not have to write here that is minus x. You will just write here plus x. Just try to understand what the term it is given. Whenever it is given the credit balance as per the passbook, what it means that, look, when it is given the overdraft is taken by the customer, then you will just consider that it would be the negative figure. That's why I have just written here that is negative. Nobody just understanding what the term it means, okay. Just try to understand, when we talk about the cash book, the debit and credit side, it what reflects, that is cash receipts, the debit side, and the cash payment, that is your credit side. That means this would considered as a liability. When we talk about the passbook is a just opposite of the cash book. That means the credit balance of the passbook reflect the cash receipt of the customer, while cash payment, that is liability, shows by the bank statement, okay. So if the credit balance as per the passbook is given, so what you will write, you will write that is plus x, okay, because it is the account balance that is given of the customer. So when credit balance as per the passbook is the starting point of a bank reconciliation statement, then bank charges are that you have to calculate, okay. So suppose that bank is just charges, suppose at any amount, suppose at minus y, okay, and because customer is not aware of that, so this transaction will reflect as a zero, or like in the cash book. So here you can understand the cash book is greater than the passbook, for this first condition, okay, because 0 would always greater than any minus value, okay. Now this transaction would be added here. So that is the question of yours. So what should be the answer? That would be the added. That is the correct answer for this question. I hope it is understandable for everyone. Next, goods purchased from Mr. A but wrongly entered in the account of Mr. B, the rectification of error would be. This is a very important question you have to understand. So like in what way you have to understand, just understand. Goods purchased from Mr. A, that means the very first thing what you have to do, you have to understand like which account is going to be included in this transaction. So you will say that this is the debit side, this is the credit side. So definitely purchase account, that is going to be debited, while Mr. A account is going to be credited, and this should be the correct entry. You can understand here the involvement of the two account, the purchase account and the Mr. A account, because Mr. A account belongs to the personal account category, and for the personal account category we understand debit the receiver and credit the giver. So in this situation, if any goods that is purchased from the Mr. A, that means in this scenario Mr. A is the giver, so credit the giver and debit the receiver, right? So purchase account debit and Mr. A account is credited. That is the correct entry, okay. Now what actually done here, that what wrongly entered in the account of the Mr. B, that means it is wrongly entered into account of the Mr. B instead of the A. And while you can understand the purchase account is a correctly written here, okay. Now the rectification of error will be what? Now you can understand here, because this mistake we had done, so we have to first nullify this error, okay. So like how we can just nullify, because purchase account we needed on the debit side and the same we are getting, like now the thing that Mr. B, okay, that is by mistake we just credited the Mr. B account. So now you can understand, if we debit the Mr. B account, okay, if we debit the Mr. B account, then we actually rectify this error. After that we have to credit the Mr. A account, and that's how we can rectify the entry. So the correct answer, that should be your B option. That should be your correct answer for this question, okay, right? Next question. A purchase of the 49,500 from Shiva was recorded in purchases book as a 59,400. The profit would show what? Okay, now you can understand. Look, when we talk about the purchase from the Shiva was recorded in the purchase book as the 59,400. So you can understand purchase always express, like purchase always recorded on the debit side. So what we have to record, we have to record the 49,500. But by mistake, what we exactly recorded, by mistake we recorded the 59,400. So this is a difference of the 9,900. Okay, so that means you debited extra 9,900. Now, when we talk about the profit always you can understand as a income minus expenses. Okay, so income or revenue and whatever the expenses that incurred on that, so you can understand that is a profit. Okay, so suppose that when we talk about that income and expenses, you can understand the debit side is shows the expenses while credit side shows the income for the company. Okay, so now suppose that on the debit side we excess by the 9,900. So you can understand this would be just decrease the amount of the 9,900 in the profit, because when we talk about the profit, you can understand profit is all about your whatever the sales you have done and whatever the amount of the purchases you have done. Okay, so profit is all about the sales minus purchases, right? So suppose that purchases has been, you recorded more than its real value. Okay, so more than its real value, so you will just understand here that profit would just going to be decrease of the 9,900. That should be the correct answer. Next question. Accounting standard 9 deals with what? So now you can understand accounting standard 9 actually deals with the revenue recognition. That should be the correct answer. And in the examination, you will get these kind of the question in the match of the following, where you may get this kind of the question in the 2 marks. So you have to be aware of that, and you should just memorize the accounting standards. Okay. So if you just followed my lecture, then you just know about that what I story told you about this, let how you should just learn the accounting standards. Okay, so accounting standard 9 that deals with the revenue recognition, that should be the correct answer for this question, right? Next question. Subscription received in advance to be shown in, look, anything that is received in advance, anything that is received in advance. Okay, but because you can understood here that thing, that means this thing is not accrued but it is received in advance, so that always considered as an asset side of the balance sheet. It is correct? No, it is not correct. Okay, understand, when we talk about anything that is received in advance, anything that is received in advance but it is not accrued, that means this would consider as what? This would consider as the correct option, that is liability side of the balance sheet. That would be the correct answer. Okay, because you actually received in advance but it is not still accrued, but you can understand the unearned income, the concept of the unearned income, that income you not earned but you received, so that always express like as the liability of the balance sheet. Okay, so this should be the correct, it is not the asset, it is a liability, just understand this. So subscription received in advance, that is considered as a liability side of the balance sheet. That should be the correct answer. Next question. Salaries paid 4,500 is shown in the credit side of the credit side of the trial balance. In the total of the trial balance, the debit side will be short by what amount? Now you can understand salary would always considered as what? Salaries paid. That would considered as an expense for the company. So salary paid 4,500 is shown in the credit side of the trial balance. Now just tell me here that this is a debit side, this is a credit side of the trial balance. As you all know that all the assets, all the expenses that actually shows on the debit side, while all the liabilities, all the income, or the all the gains, that is going to be recorded on the credit side. Now just tell me salaries paid, where it should be recorded? Definitely it should be recorded on the debit side, but what mistake it is shown in the credit side? That means that we actually just by mistake we actually post into the credit side, but what exactly should be, that it should be recorded on the debit side. Now just tell me, the very first thing that you have to nullify this error, after that you just want this 4,500 more. That means the, if I say in the total of the trial balance, the debit side will be short by what, how many amount? Now you can understand, first 4,500 and another that 4,500, that should be here. Okay, so that means the correct answer, that is that is short by the 9,000 rupees. That should be the correct answer for this question. Okay, next question. Retirement of the bill means, when you talk about the bill of exchange, there is always three parties. You have to understand the one party that is drawer, another party is that is drawee, and the third party that is pay. Okay, so this is you have to understand. So retirement of the bill, that means what? That means sending the bill for the collection, cancellation of the bill, endorsing the bill in a favor of the third party, making payment before the due date. That is correct. Whenever we retirement of the bill, when we consider the retirement of the bill, you always have to understand we are talking about the making payment before the due date. That should be the correct answer for this question. Okay, that is very important. I hope you all just understood this session. I hope, and if you just liking our content, liking our effort, just press the press the like button here. Okay, and the another thing I just want to tell you here, that because your exams is nearby, so you can just enroll for the complete A-Kit, where you will find the very important short notes for your preparation, as well as the some mock tests there are. Okay, the solution of that, and it is especially prepared by the experienced faculty. So that means this kind of the stuff you are getting from the under 24/7. So just grab this opportunity. Okay, after that you can also enroll for the bilingual courses of the, like bilingual as well as the English medium courses of the JIB examination. Okay, like APB, AFB, PPB as well as the LRAB, and you will get flat 80% off today. Okay, so just grab this opportunity, and just use, you only have to use the code Y422, and with this code you are going to get the big discount over that. As well as you can just enroll for the test packs, and for the test pack you have to apply the code Y422S. Okay, just remember Y422S for the mock test, and this is the very important for your last preparation. From the test you actually have to know that in which areas you still have to work on. Okay, so just this is a very golden chance that when you should just make the benefit of that. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching me here. Thank you for everyone for joining me here. Like this video for liking our effort, liking our content. Okay, so thank you everyone.